Well, I wanted to stay away. I made a pledge to myself not to get involved in local politics once I retired a few years ago. But given the nature of what we are facing in Montgomery County, the fact that I have grandkids in the school system, I have a daughter who's here as well. It's a little bit of a challenge for me to just simply set aside and have the sort of unintended consequences of what could happen to the school system and for the infrastructure of Montgomery County. So I decided to come out of retirement to get involved with this particular issue.
So you decided to do it, or were you recruited to?
A little bit of both.
Little both.
There were some who were asking me to get engaged, and there were some who thought, given my history with this issue and some of the challenges that we've had in the past, that it would be okay for me to get involved with it, and that it would not break my pledge of getting directly involved in politics in Montgomery County. It's an inflexible cap, and I think many residents do not realize that it requires 9 votes today to exceed the rate of inflation, plus a little bit of construction for Montgomery County. So it's a 9-0 vote that you have to obtain. Let's just take an example. You can have 4 or 5 years where the county's budget and the request for revenue in terms of taxes never actually exceed the level of inflation. And all of a sudden, as now, you have the kinds of emergencies that we are looking at with the pandemic, and you need more revenue because of the health crisis, transportation, a lot of issues that impact the quality of life in Montgomery County. And more importantly, you have the maintenance of effort for our public school system. So you have to maintain a certain level of education. You essentially have very little room, flexibility to go anywhere. And so if you have just 1 year, you want to go 1 dime above the rate of inflation, you cannot do that. If all 9 people are in favor of that under the measure of B, you could not do that. That's just simply foolish in my opinion, and really undermines effective government and will have disastrous effect for a long time. It could imperil our AAA bond rating and certainly impact schools and quality of life across the board. Here's why we oppose question D. It will have 9 members, all elected from single member districts. If you look across the nation, you'll see that many jurisdictions who've had single member districts are going in the opposite direction to have some at large members. Why so? It is because in single member districts, the politics and the parochialism become so adverse to a good local governance that it's difficult to have the kind of effectiveness that you want. Let's look at some of the issues that you're impacted by daily. The environment. If there's a polluted stream, a stream doesn't stay in one district, it flows throughout the entire county. Question of education are countywide issues. Transportation are countywide issues. So why would you have a situation where you now have the ability to elect 5 members and vote 5 members on the council to go down to a situation where you only have 1? That to me, I think is counterproductive. And so it's contrary to what I think good governance should be. It would lead to parochialism. It would lead to vote trading in a way that I think is counterproductive. And I think that we can end up in a worse situation. If you're dissatisfied with the individual council person, that's something different. But do not throw the system out. To adopt this system, in my opinion, will be very, very counterproductive to good local governance.